Hey everyone, this is Corey here with the Wise Guys. Thank you, Greg, for having me on your channel. I'm coming to you guys today to give you a deck profile for my 9-0 Ritual Beast deck that I took to the Rosemont Regional yesterday. Yesterday was all day of the ban list, so that was very fun to have that occur after round 3 on our lunch break. There was 300 players, or roughly about. We played 9 rounds of Swiss. Um, My matchups were round 1 I played against Fiendsmith Snake Eye, round 2 I played against Memento, round 3 I played against Chimera Fiendsmith, and then after the lunch break I played against Tenpai, Ubel Fiendsmith, Runic Stun, Fiendsmith Snake Eye, Tenpai, and in the last round my opponent got the up pair playing Horus Buster Blader. Um, all my opponents were great. I had a good time playing against all of them. Um, Before I get into the deck, shoutouts to my teammates who went with me, Wes and Trevor. Uh, Wes has been lending me a mat for like a month and a half that we have a running joke that is blessed because I seem to never brick on that mat. And Trevor told me the night before that my deck list looked like a first place deck profile, and he was right. And then shoutouts to my other teammate, John Baker, who got a regional win before nationals last year, bringing him to 2 to my 1. So I had to get a second one to tie him. But yeah, let's just get into that profile. So first we have the standard 3 Cannahawk, 3 Rampengu, Apelio, and Petalfin. I think the Petalfin is necessary, especially after the ban list, because you're going to see an uptick in Ubel, and this card is how you break a lot of the Ubel boards. It also helps when you draw a lot of names as you're breaking boards, so that way you can banish them out of your hand in order to get them into rotation, since Cannahawk will not be able to banish them from the deck. And Apelio is also really strong. You push for game really easily with it. Yeah, so that's all the Spiritual Beasts. And then for Tamers, I played 3 Ritual Beast Tamer Elder, 3 Spiritual Beast Tamer Lara, and then I played 1 Lara, 1 Wen, and 1 Winda. These 2 are the best ones in the deck. This one's the best extender, and this one's the best one to open with. Whenever you open Elder Cannahawk or Elder Pengu, you should never lose to Nibiru with this deck if you play it correctly. Through Nibiru, you can always establish, you can always still establish Protoss Lock, which just wins the game. And Spiritual Beast Tamer Lara, discarding to normal summon any name, helps you extend, push for game, as well as its banish effect and its protection effect all came up multiple times. And then for the 3 one-ofs here, Wen and Lara are just your names for your different versions of each combo, because each combo is a very branched decision tree. And the last one to talk about is Winda. This one's kind of like the worst one and simultaneously like my favorite one, because in the format before the ban list, there was a lot of times you were dealing with like a 2 material Apollosa, which is 1600, or an SP Little Knight, which is 1600. So you can summon this, crash with it, and summon the Link 4 for free, attack over the other one because there was a lot of IP SP or IP Appaloosa boards. And so then you'd be able to clear both and then just play afterwards. So Window is really good right now. But you still don't want to play more than one because it kind of sucks to open. Then for the rest of the engine, 3 Emergency Teleport, 3 Ritual Beast Inheritance, 1 Ritual Beast Steeds, then Honorary Engine is Protoss and Flag. Not really going to talk about these because it's just part of the combo. You make Banshee, you search Flag, Flag has Protoss, Protoss wins you the game. Steeds is kind of a mediocre form of interruption, but sometimes it's all you need. It says that while you control a Ritual Beast monster, you can destroy monsters on the field up to the number of Ritual Beast monsters you control. And all of your fusions and stuff tag out on your opponent's turn. So you're able to go from like having 2 monsters to having 4 and just blowing up their whole board if they're unaware. Inheritance is really good to open as well, and you search it throughout your combo because of how good it is. Its attack reduction effect is something that no one ever reads. I had multiple people crash monsters in, or attempt to crash monsters into my guys, and I let them walk it back because it's a regional. I'm not stressing too hard. And then this letting you bridge anything between your Tamers and Spiritual Beasts is exactly what this deck needed. And against Tenpai, having this card plus a fusion basically is just an FTK because you just change Chandra to defense mode and they can't kill you. And then Itali is just another extender for the deck. This card got a lot better in the deck after the new support came out with Spiritual Beast Tamer Lara, because this used to only be able to get you Tamers. Now it can get you a Tamer or a Spiritual Beast because of the conjunction naming. Then for the non-engine, there's 26 engines, so it's a 41 card deck. I played 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Dimension Shifter, 3 Nibiru, 3 Imperm, and 3 Talents. I don't know why they didn't ban Shifter on the ban list. I was hoping for it because I wanted to use these slots on something else, but so long as it's in the game, have to play it. All the rest of the hand traps are self-explanatory. And Talents is something that like I go back and forth on in the deck because there's a lot of hands where through like the one interruption, Talents can get you there if you draw Itali or Lara, but if you don't, it doesn't do anything. But it can also check your hand if you already check your opponent's hand if you already have those cards. So I think it's positioned well for the deck. If you don't play this, you'll notice that there's no Prosperity in the list. You can play Prosperity, and then you could play like Breakers instead of hand traps, which I did for basically the month before this, was just playing Breakers and Prosperity, and just focusing on breaking my opponent's board rather than stopping them from reaching a board. Yeah. But so that's it for the main deck. Got my Nib token and Team Field Center. Then for the extra deck, 2 Canhawk, 2 Nochi Drago, 1 Apelio, 1 Gaia Apelio, 2 Kimian Falcos, and 1 Ravatari. I've seen a couple people cut Nochi Drago down to 1. I don't really understand the reasoning behind it, because in your hands that are weaker to Nibiru and hand traps, if you make this and then you do get nibbed, you lose a lot of your grind game. You have to jump through so many hoops to like get it banished with an Apelio and then flag put it back. It's just something I don't want to run into. And it's always good for follow-up, and it's a light, so you can Protoss Call Light to lock out the Fiendsmith engine. Ulti Apelio is also one I don't really love playing. You almost never make this card, and if you do, it's probably incorrect. The only reason it's in here is to dump Apelio from the deck, which I guess is reason enough, but I wish I could just use it on a different slot. Ritual Beast Ulti Guy Apelio. I love making this card. It's really insane and better than Appaloosa when you can make it. Basically any hand that's Elder Canahawk or Elder Pengu, if I have additional names in my hand, I'm always making this over Appaloosa because this is the only one that has the chance to beat like 2 to 3 hand traps in conjunction with one another. 2 Kimian Falcos is just because you needed an additional Psychic to banish off of Rempengu to send like your Lara or Winda from deck to graveyard to get them into rotation. And so like if you ever had to like banish the Link 4, when I played one of this, I had to banish the Link 4. So then if my Banshee did get stopped, I had no way of retrieving this. And this card is like what makes like the deck really good right now. Because so his secret effect, first line, is now the player contribute cards to activate cards or effects. Fiendsmith Requiem cannot tribute itself to summon an Engraver from deck, so you really don't care about them putting any Light Fiends on the board. And then additionally, on your opponent's turn, it targets a Ritual Beast card you control and a card they control. Banish both. A lot of people ask if it's an SP, and I say no, you lose the card forever. And then as you're comboing, it allows you to add back any name, so you can add back follow-up, you can add back extension. When you're in a grind game, you can banish Steeds off of Pelio and add it back because it adds back any Ritual Beast card. So then you can just continuously Steed your opponent until they run out of guys. But yeah, the 9 names, I don't think I'd change it. I'm pretty happy with it. The only one I might cut is a Pelio, but I don't know. It came up enough times where like it warrants its spot. For the rest of the extra deck that's not names, played 1 Banshee, 1 Star Slayer. Banshee's part of the combo, add flag, add Protoss. Typhon I made twice. and I don't think I won either game, but it did put me in a winning position for one that I just couldn't draw out of against the Fiendsmith Yubel player, because I broke through the whole board. I banished the Nightmare Pain with SP. He went through both Phantoms turn 1, and so I just Sky Crisis, bounced his last dude, and 3 or 4 turns went by of him looping resources with the Unchained Yama, while this was just sitting in defense mode on my board because they don't play monsters big enough to get over this, other than a Desiree equipped with a Requiem. If I could have drawn a name, I think I would have won the game that I summoned this, but I didn't, so it might get cut because it didn't really come up a lot. And then I only played 4 generic links. I played the 1 Link Spider. This is for if you get Nibiru'd in your anti-Nibiru lines, because having this to turn into SP comes up. Anima. I really like playing Anima in this deck. It makes it so your E-Telly could out an Appaloosa without needing to play Ghost Ogre. Granted, that's not a problem anymore because of the ban list. But I still like it because for another reason, which was as you're comboing, it'll let you get a dark attribute into rotation if you didn't open Shifter, which can come up for pros because oftentimes you have a graveyard full of lights and winds, and when you want to Firelock, you have to leave both like the Banshee and the you have to get rid of the Banshee off your board and summon it back, but you want to like turn it into something relevant, so you can summon Anima, link with the Banshee to make an SP, and then you can banish the Banshee out of grave to go the Banshee, the Anima, and the name if you don't have any other lights, because there are only a few of them, and you kind of want to leave Lara's in grave to protect your board, to summon the Proto, so that way you have all your bases covered. Then the 1 SP Little Knight. I don't play IP Masquerena. I never make that card when I did play it. I'd almost always rather go into this to banish Banshee out of grave to go up into Appaloosa or Reutari and push my plays through that way. And just putting this on the end board makes it so if you do get nibbed, you can just tag out part of it. And then the banned card that I'm glad got banned because 1, it was ignorant, and 2, I was already wanting to cut this from the extra deck because of how rarely I made it. So Konami made my decision easier. And finally for the side deck, I played 3 Molcharming Perulia. This card's decent. I wouldn't say it's like insanely strong by any means, but like it does enough. And in the rogue matchups and in mirrors, like this card will be really good if they don't open the E-Telly to play around it. 2 Druisworm and a Magnemite. I never drew the Magnemite. Druisworm, I think I drew twice, and both times it helped me break a board. I broke the whole Fiendsmith Snake Eye board with a Druisworm and 5 Ritual Beast cards. That was really fun. And with Yubel going to increase in popularity post-ban list, I think it's mandatory to have to play them in the extra deck even though you're already playing Shifter. Just having more ways to interrupt them is always good. Speaking of Yubel, played 3 Dark Ruler No More. I only played against the 1 Yubel, and that's the only time it came in. Yeah. 2 Lightning Storms and Harpies. The night before, the Lightning Storms were 2 Cosmic Cyclone, as well as the 1 Called by the Grave was a Cosmic Cyclone. That might go back to being Cosmic Cyclones because, once again, Yubel's going to uptick in popularity, so you being able to get rid of the Nightmare Pain and get it out of rotation permanently is really strong, but they'll probably start playing 2 since they lost a couple copies of Opening of the Spirit Gates. So maybe that's not as important. I have to test it, but yeah, I think I activated Harpies twice over the course of the day, and Lightning Storm 0 times. It got banished off of all the runic spells against stun. And then the 3 Go First cards, Anti-Spell, Tikaboo, Called by the Grave. I never drew any of these, but if I did, they win the game on the spot, even if you get stopped. Setting a Tikaboo and flipping it up against Yubel, Tenpai, usually just means that they lose the game. Similarly with Anti-Spell against most decks, it makes your plays a lot more linear and a lot easier to stop. So, yeah, that was the deck. I can't think of any changes. Everything felt really good. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Peace.